It is Saturday, August 30th, 2025. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Thank you for taking the time to subscribe and being part of this weather community. All right, there's going to be a system that forms in the Atlantic. I want to track that. More activity back behind it. Plus, in the short term, watching some big areas of rain that we've been tracking together overnight. Some near Trinidad and Tobago, northeastern sections of Venezuela. I've been keeping an eye on the activity. As expected, an uptick in the activity, a higher chance of rain and storms. Parts of the Bahamas, back through Cuba, still near the Cayman Islands and Belize overnight. We've had a couple showers kind of diving on down. Plus to the north, watching this area in Texas. I was talking about this yesterday and over the last few days. I'll zoom down to Texas in a moment with some potential of flooding, and then we swing back toward the Bahamas and off the coast of Florida and Georgia. You see more rain and storms. Really active period for some of us. Now, as we work our way out into the tropical Atlantic, here we are in the Caribbean. Short term, as I've been mentioning, some of the dry air and some dust that has been around, but watching this over toward the coast of Africa, the next bigger tropical wave is going to move off by the time we get into tonight and tomorrow. That one looks like it will develop. Now, what will it become? Where will it go? I'll try to cover that best I can for you in this video. The American model has this area becoming a tropical storm. The European model has this area eventually becoming a hurricane, but staying over the water. The Canadian model doesn't have a storm in this, but does see a strong tropical wave. And the Icon model has this also becoming a tropical storm. It is so far out there. It has not developed, so as far as where it goes, that's still kind of a wait and see. I'm hoping it kind of makes that earlier curve. Sometimes when things develop so quickly, they're a little bit more likely to make a curve, but then back behind it, there is going to be more activity. So in the short term, high pressure is in control. That's like a blocker, right? That's the fence, so that's in control. So we'll see if this kind of rides around it or is a little bit more off toward the west. But overall, high pressure and control temporarily, that'll drive it off to the west for a few days. Here we are in the Caribbean. Now going out in time as we work our way into midweek, you see this area. Now this is kind of a behind the scenes look at the European model in the variations of it. So it gives us a feel of the uncertainty. What is certain is it looks like this area is going to develop, and this here would be as we work our way into Thursday, sitting safely over the water. So plenty of time to monitor that. Then as we work around time, just to show you some of the uncertainty into the next weekend, so not this weekend, but next weekend, and you see kind of a spread in some of the models, anywhere from staying over the open waters, watching Bermuda, or closer to the northeastern Caribbean. But a lot of these models eventually show some weakening. This area may run into some dry air and some wind shear above our heads, which knocks off the thunderstorm top. So even if it does develop and get a little bit closer, it may eventually weaken. With that said, we'll monitor this. Again, it hasn't even formed yet, but back behind it, there's going to be some additional tropical waves, which looking long-term, mid to late September, it looks like the pattern is going to be a little bit more to the west and not necessarily everything kind of a hooking to the north. The pattern kind of changes as we go throughout a hurricane season. So point being, September is going to be more active, but that makes sense because we're working our way into the peak of the hurricane season. So here we are in the Caribbean, the Gulf. You can see here, this is the chance of a tropical depression forming. The European model now has this at about an 80, almost 90% chance of a tropical depression forming. With that said, again, it may try to stay over the water, but we'll just wait and see. We'll see how it develops first. I'll be covering this closely, very closely in upcoming videos, and then we'll be able to get a good handle on where it will go. And then after that, kind of seeing what happens behind it with those other tropical waves that will be coming off as we start to work our way into a more active period. Now, of course, if anything gets closer to us, these water temperatures have been soaring. Even where Aaron passed by and the water has cooled over the last few days, it's really been kind of filling back in, kind of warming up. But you see these water temperatures now in the eastern Caribbean, we're around 30, pushing 31 degrees Celsius in spots. So much of the Caribbean and the Gulf has really been untouched, at least in the short term. So that is a concern. If anything were to move closer to land, it could really intensify, but we'll be watching that together. So here we are in the Caribbean, just going out in time here. You can see the time frame, coast of Africa here, watching Cabo Verde, especially southern islands. We're going to see a better chance of some of the flooding as this area develops. This is by Monday night. Monday into Tuesday, some of that flooding could really start to work in with some of that rain or that flood potential. Tuesday into Wednesday, I should say. You see it right there. This is that area that is developing. And I like when they're way the heck out there because there's so much time to kind of monitor those. But then eventually, as we work our way deeper into next week, it does show a little bit of weakening, more of a northerly track, which would be good, trying to keep this over water. But these are the tropical waves back behind it that may be a little bit more likely to work their way off toward the west. So there's going to be several areas to watch very soon. That first one coming off the coast of Africa. Again, here we are in the Caribbean, and you can see how this develops pretty quickly as we look at the winds, kilometers an hour and miles per hour on the key there. But this is by Tuesday. So Cabo Verde, gusty winds, flood potential with this, and then as this area works its way Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we'll see some strengthening midweek, but then it may run into that kind of hostile environment, which is good, which would be some drier air, so we'll see. But you see, even by Friday, this is just sitting over the Atlantic open waters, and then we'll see what else is coming off the coast of Africa. So the next name on the list, which is likely to be the area coming off the coast of Africa, is Gabrielle, unless something else spins up. Sometimes that happens. You get a couple areas that could, it's an active time of year, so something else may try to spin up. Umberto, Imelda, Jerry, Karen, Lorenzo, Melissa, Nestor, as we work our way down the list of names in the Atlantic basin, which includes the Atlantic, the Caribbean, and the Gulf. Now, shorter term, there are some of the rain and storms, especially northern, even central Bahamas, hit or miss Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, the DR, Puerto Rico, Cuba. But if we get some, they could be strong. Keeping an eye on some of that moisture from this morning and overnight back through Trinidad, and hit or miss Antigua, Barbuda, St. Martin, Dominica, some passing showers, some pockets of heavier rain, still parts of Central America as we work our way into tomorrow. Still this area a little more active, parts of the Bahamas down through Cuba. May see a couple showers and storms. Cayman Islands and Jamaica, again, packing a punch. Jamaica, some spots were still too dry. Others were going to get dumped on with some rain and storms. And then you see by Monday, a little resurgence of rain. Nicaragua, South Costa Rica, and Panama. All eyes, though, will be, as we go throughout the week, what continues to come off the coast of Africa. Global trade winds, that's why we see those rain and storms kind of come off and work their way toward us this time of year. Now, looking to the north, I mentioned Texas, monitoring for some flooding. There's that area that's working its way through the Atlantic region of Canada. Hopefully some welcome rain for you. Watching near Bermuda for some rain. And then very active southern United States, southeastern United States in particular. Watching this as we work our way into tonight. Some heavier rain parts of Texas. That could lead to quick runoff, some river rises. I'll zoom down to the rain totals here in just a second. And then you see once again, southeastern coast of the United States, very active. Some of those downpours in spots from the Bahamas back through Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, watching another area working its way toward Bermuda. Another chance of some rain on Sunday as we work our way toward Newfoundland. And then as we work our way deeper into next week, you see by Monday, still very active along the southern United States with more areas of rain and storms. Seas not, I'll show you the rain totals in a second. Seas not too terrible, just kind of a bit of a chop in the central Caribbean. This rolls us through the weekend into next week. With that said, anything on the water, of course, this time of year, we need to monitor for some of those individual thunderstorms that could give us those downpours and the lightning. Here's that closer look at Texas. Really pick your spot. North Texas, west, east, some heavy areas of rain. We'll see some totals that could be around 4 to 6 inches of rain. And that's why I mentioned some of the dangerous rivers and some of the runoff potential for today into tonight, even into tomorrow, depending on how these storms set up. And here's some of that active weather for us right across the Bahamas, swinging back to the north where some of those totals will be pushing 75 millimeters of rain or 3 inches of rain. That includes Cuba for some thunderstorms. Hit or miss storms, Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. That pattern, some of us dry, but if we get some storms, they could give us a quick 75 millimeters of rain. And monitoring for some of the lightning. Hit or miss Puerto Rico, U.S. British Virgin Islands, not as much St. Bart's, St. Croix, Tortola, Antigua and Agata, but still watching out for that chance of rain. St. Kitts and Nevis, a passing shower. If we get a couple passing showers, 10 to maybe 25 millimeters of rain would be a potential. A little bit more in Trinidad and Tobago, in particular Trinidad, where we could have some totals for 3-day rain totals up to about 50 millimeters of rain. Guyana, parts of Venezuela, really interior sections, better chance of some of the rain. And then again, watching Costa Rica and Panama, Caribbean side for Costa Rica, really actually both sides, and then working our way right near Panama, some higher totals. And then elsewhere, El Salvador, monitoring some of that flood threat, scattered areas of rain back through Belize, Mexico City active, and there's that up and around pattern and that additional rain swinging back toward Texas. And you see even coastal sections of South Carolina, Georgia, working your way back toward Florida, where 2 to 4 inches of rain will be a possibility. So Jamaica, some of us dry, others getting storms. We're looking at a 50% chance today, a 40% chance tomorrow, and a 50% chance on Monday. Still some scattered areas of rain, especially I've been seeing that overnight and this morning near Cuba. Some of that will try to spill over back through the Cayman Islands. So we'll have a chance of some showers and storms. In Trinidad and Tobago, it's been active from overnight. In particular, Trinidad, a 60% chance of rain at least the first half of today. I'll be watching your comments. Barbados, a 30% chance today, tomorrow into Monday, and a 30% chance of some passing showers the next 2 days through St. Lucia. Rain chance about 50% today in Grenada, down to about a 40% chance for tomorrow, and isolated showers possible St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Could see a couple more southern islands. Martinique, rain chance 30% today and tomorrow, holding on to the isolated and passing shower possible from Dominica back toward Guadeloupe as we work our way through the weekend and into next week. Antigua and Barbuda, rain chance 20% today, 30% chance tomorrow. Rain chance relatively low, but like a couple days ago, if we get a shower or storm, it could pack a punch. Rain chance 20% the next 2 days, St. Kitts and Nevis in Montserrat, and a 30% chance by Monday. And Anguilla and St. Bart's, a 20 to 30% chance. Isolated passing showers, St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, and a 30% chance of isolated showers or thunderstorms back through Puerto Rico, being mindful of some of the lightning, and about a 20, maybe 30% chance U.S. and British Virgin Islands. The Bahamas, of course, northern and central Bahamas, that's where our rain chance is going to be higher. Freeport, New Providence, I mentioned some of those higher totals. Turks and Caicos, rain chance about 30% today. Scattered thunderstorms and some of that quick runoff, watching that across the Dominican Republic. We've had those rivers on the rise, watching out for even some scattered storms. Parts of Haiti, monitoring some of those rivers. Belize, it's been pretty active from overnight. I'll be watching your comments still the next few days. A chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Aruba, we're looking at about a 30% chance today, 40% chance. Curacao and Bonaire, maybe tonight while we're sleeping, a slightly better chance of some showers. Interior Guyana, better chance of rain, and holding on to a 40% chance through Suriname. Scattered thunderstorms, pick your spot. Western, central, and eastern sections of Cuba for some scattered rain. Heavy areas of rain as we've been covering together parts of Panama and Costa Rica, and a 60% chance today in Nicaragua favoring southern and coastal sections. Honduras, rain chance today 50% and a 40% chance for tomorrow. Guatemala, a 70% chance today, and El Salvador, where it could be a little bit higher, and a 60% chance for tomorrow, and a 50 to 60% chance in and around Mexico City. Scattered areas of rain, scattered showers, and a few thunderstorms. Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, 40 to 50% chance northern Colombia, 50% chance in northern Venezuela, and Bermuda. We're going to see those fronts pressing in, and with that, we'll see some rain at times as we go over the next few days. So tropical storm likely to form off the coast of Africa. It is way out there. Long term, a little uncertain on the track as of now. Makes sense. It is so far out there, but we do have that active pattern after this area develops. More tropical waves, which could be a little bit stronger, and will also develop an active September ahead, though, but that is generally common as we work our way into the peak of the hurricane season. So thank you for being with me. I'll be going through your comments as we go throughout the day. Have a good Saturday ahead.